The galaxy is not a nice place, and no one has suffered more at the hands of its unyieldingly ruthless calculus than humanity. They are a young species. They've barely been travelling the stars for 12 of their years, and yet so much has happened to them in that short time. Among the spacefaring species of this galaxy, humanity is the only one who did not come to the stars by their own ingenuity and cunning. No, they were uplifted, forced to the stars because we needed them. The Stellar Imperium had conquered half the galaxy, and their genocidal policies threatened to destroy all other sentient species in the galaxy. We had no more forces to recruit, and our armies and fleets were breaking, but we had a last resort. The humans came from a planet far more hostile to sentient life than any other known life-bearing world, and evolving in such an environment made for the exact soldiers we needed. The history books will tell you that the humans were glad to join the cause, and the millions upon millions of young men and women we recruited did so willingly. But take it from me, I was there. We weren't asking when we requested human forces to fight our war. Despite it not being their war, the humans performed admirably. Nowhere in the galaxy could you find a species more built for battle. Where before we lost systems by the day, now the humans held the line, though at great cost themselves. Most officers assigned to command humans did so begrudgingly, and it showed. Humans were ordered to make suicidal charges into prepared positions, always chosen to hold off the foe as other forces retreated to safety, and yet these cruel orders were always met, and indeed, exceeded. Not all officers leading humans were so heartless. Many respected these new people, who clearly had a refined understanding of warfare and everything involving it. I was one of these. The humans I fought with served with admirable courage and honour, but no one who wasn't there has heard of us. The deeds of the human armies largely go unremembered. While our strongest and most honoured forces were struggling with armies half their size on Gartin worlds, the humans struggled against superior foes in every environment you can possibly imagine. From the coldest of mountain tundras to the most scorching desert, humanity fought and won, though often forgotten, save for other humans. They say you can still find the frozen bodies of their fallen in the mountains, and their bleached bones lying in the dunes. The war was nearly over, and to everyone's surprise it seemed like we were actually going to win. Some realised the truth, that it was the humans who had won it for us, but many chose to forget about them. Our enemy did not forget. They realised that but for humanity their victory would have come long ago, and so they set to destroy the instrument of our victory. A strike fleet blew through a low-priority sector, driving to the human home planet before we could stop them. A pitifully small defence force was protecting the planet, and they quickly fled, leaving the planet at the mercy of the enemy. There was no way to evacuate. We had purposely refrained from revealing FTL technology to the humans, and we had no ships to evacuate with. The planet was glassed by every possible weapon from an entire fleet. In a few short hours, that beautiful blue marble was changed into a brown husk, unable to support the life that no longer existed upon its barren surface. I was with my humans at the front lines when it happened. The looks on their faces still keep me awake at night. Anyone who says that humans feel nothing has never seen a human mourn. And yet their despair rapidly morphed into a rage so hot that they were beyond control. The men under my command said nothing, but each knew what to do. Without asking or receiving permission to attack, they threw themselves upon the prepared defences of a foe that outnumbered them 3-1, nothing but their anger driving them. Their anger had bled into me, for I went with them thinking it suicidal. When the sun set that day, the enemy had been slain to the last, and we had lost only a few. The humans reported that no enemy forces had attempted surrender, but something about that always seemed fishy to me. And so we took that last planet, and soon the war ended. The humans demanded that every enemy involved in the destruction of Earth be executed for their crimes. But the surrender was to be conditional, and the demands of the humans were silenced to improve cooperation. Peace would prove no kinder to humanity than war. In the end, no one in the Alliance wanted to take on the supposed burden of looking after millions of primitive aliens, and so none of the many star nations granted citizenship or even asylum to humanity. The Alliance simply gave them a few obsolete cargo ships with barely enough space for the roughly 10 million remaining humans. And so memorials were built, speeches were made, and we returned to our lives. The humans eked out whatever living they could in the unclaimed space they were forced to remain in, mostly mining, scrapping, and admittedly some less savoury work, no doubt further entrenching the negative opinion most have towards humans. Most people haven't dealt with or seen a human since the war. Not that many people want to. I've kept up with a few of the humans I served alongside. They deserve that much, and are good friends. even if I rarely have the chance to meet them in person. Friends like Sergeant Wayne, he insists to this day that I call him by his first name, but he still calls me Captain, so all's fair, I say. We first met when he pulled me from the flaming wreckage of my transport shuttle, and we've been friends since. He was only 18 by human years when he started fighting, but he was always one of my most valued soldiers. He helps with what's left of the human military forces. Even though they were all soldiers, only a few remained that way. And the fact he remains my friend is something I am thankful for, even if I am unsure I deserve it. Despite how much human blood our foes spilled, the Alliance has been rather unkind to him as well. He stayed in the Alliance military for a while after the war, as some humans did. He was used with certain experiments, supposedly to improve the already hardy human body. Unsurprisingly, these tests failed, and in fact permanently harmed him. Where he was supposed to gain near complete resistance to disease, his immune system was functionally destroyed. Now the man lives in an environmental suit. A single breach would kill him. I've spoken with him a great deal about it, and he seems surprisingly unworried about it. Apparently he finds it humorous. Between humanity being forced to live on ships after losing Earth, and him being stuck in an environmental suit, it supposedly reminds him of a fictional species for some human video game. But I digress. Why do I write this? It's not as if anyone would read it but myself. Perhaps it's better to put my thoughts on the proverbial paper. Perhaps it's because I know that something is wrong. There's the ambiguity of the destruction of Earth. Despite the garrison fleet fighting, I have never found an image that proves the fleet that destroyed them was of the enemy. And in my older age, I begin to have doubts. I was an outlier. Most people mistrusted humanity, and many believed that once the war was over, it would be best to limit how far they could spread. The humans don't know about this. Perhaps it's better they don't, and keep to themselves. When we ended the war, we had allowed a conditional surrender to our foes, though we thought them too weak to ever fight us again once they installed a new government, one less keen on fighting. Humanity had demanded harder terms, but we had arrogantly brushed them aside. I remember many humans grumbling about a 20-year armistice. Perhaps we should have listened. Now the year is 2034, by the human calendar, and already there are concerning rumours on the old border between us and what remains of the Imperium. Their new government has slowly grown more antagonistic, and it seems like another conflict is on the horizon, though I know we are not ready. Perhaps the humans could help us, protect us again, but why should they? What did we ever truly do for them? They were our last resort, but we don't deserve to have them help again. Perhaps we never deserve their help. Ancients, help me. They deserve to know what happened to their planet, even if it destroys the Alliance. Taken from the personal log of ex-captain Krytek Konstal, 1 year before the beginning of the Second War.